10's Christina Boomer Vazquez is joining us live from Delray Beach. She's been really watching people, whether they're heeding the evacuations, the mandatory evacuations, and the police enforcing them. So how's it looking now?
Exactly right. So I'm on East Atlantic again to give you some location just across that bridge that you're seeing live. That is the Berry Islands, one of the zones that is currently under a mandatory evacuation. And that is why police are here at this checkpoint. They're checking IDs and they're only allowing residents in. The folks that we have seen turned away so far this morning have mostly been service workers, from housekeepers to restaurant workers, chefs. And a lot of the folks that came actually thought the restaurant was going to be open. They learned on site here that the restaurants are actually closing down as well. So a lot of the workers had to turn around. We did get a chance to speak to two residents. You're going to hear from one, the first man you're going to listen to. He actually lives on the barrier island, again, under mandatory evacuation, Zone B here. And the second one lives in Delray Beach in a non-mandatory evacuation area. Here's what they said their plans are going to be.
I'm going to work. We'll see what happens at the end of the day.
So you have any plans to actually leave the area? Or are you going to?
I have friends to stay with if necessary, yes.
So you're going to go to work and then evaluate from there whether you're going to go home or go right to a friend's house?
Correct.
Well, I'm not feeling like I really need to get out of Dodge yet. I was actually coming down to the ocean to see how big the waves are, but I'm going to be smart about it. I understand the power of a storm, having been in Cape May and other places where there's been bad storms. From as many as 50 years ago, I know what a storm like this can do. So we're going to be smart, and if we have to get out of town, we will.
JC, Eric, earlier this morning we were in conversation about, it was a bit surprising to us here on the ground that we didn't see more cars coming across that bridge, coming onto the main street here of East Atlantic. And at least from those two folks we spoke to and a couple of other folks, it doesn't seem to be quite the sense of urgency that I guess we had thought we would see on this morning, especially as we get new updates on our forecast and get a sense of what's headed our way. So a reminder to folks who are living in areas that are under a mandatory evacuation, 3 critical points of information. 1, there are plenty of shelters that are open and available. You can find in a complete list of them on local10.com. 2, if you plan to go to a friend's house and not to go to a shelter, emergency management officials just remind you to try to avoid going north because of the unpredictability of the storm. And 3, if you are some of those folks who plan to ride out the storm in an area that's under mandatory evacuation, remember you are staying at your own risk. Once those high speeds come up, once the expected water starts flooding the streets, first responders will not be able to get to you. So keep that in mind as you're evaluating what you're going to do today. Reporting live for you in Deerfield Beach, I'm Christina Boomer Vazquez, Local 10 News.